What up, YouTube? This is your boy Melly Mel. I haven't made a video in a while. It's been a while. Probably, I don't know, maybe 2 years. Dang, it's been a long time. As I get older, I decided that I want to share something with you. Now, some of my videos, you have trucking videos, and that's what I want to talk to you, how I got into trucking. I started off actually in my career. I drove a school bus for 6 months. That's how I got my first CDL. It was a Class B CDL. Drove a school bus for 6 months. After I drove a school bus for 6 months, I decided, hey, I like driving. So then I went to a truck driving school that was hosted by a company called CR England. They was in Shanahan, Illinois. They had a terminal in Shanahan, Illinois, where they trained new drivers. So I completed that. I didn't actually work for the company at all. We went out to Salt Lake City after we finished the course and graduated. Met with the owners, and there I was to wait with my trainer for my trainer to come pick me up and start my training. However, the trainer was stuck in a snowstorm someplace. So they ended up shipping me right back to Shanahan, Illinois, where I was going to wait for the trainer to meet up with me. But by that time, I ran out of money because they said, you know, your first 2 weeks, they provided food and you had like dorms that you was in. But after that, I ran out of money. So I was like, I can't stay here and wait. So I ended up coming back home, which is Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This was in 1996, mind you. Give you a time frame. How long I've been driving. School bus was 1994. I started trucking in 1996. So I came back home, and after a week, I started with a company called Fox Midwest Transport. They was out of Green Bay, Wisconsin. They're no longer in business, but I worked for them probably 3 months. With them, I was doing regional. I would go like 5 or 6 states. And I was home on the weekends, which was okay. I didn't make a lot of money when I first started driving. I was making 26 cents a mile. I'm not saying that wasn't a lot. I'm saying I didn't make a lot because I started my career in the winter. I had just started. So a lot of the time, I was kind of scared to drive, to really drive in the snow. So when it snowed, and when I felt bad about it, I would pull over, go to a truck stop or parking area. At the time, they only had a Qualcomm. I get on the Qualcomm and tell my dispatcher that it's bad out here, which it was bad, but it probably was worse to me because I was a newer driver driving in snow, bad weather. So I didn't make a lot of money. I'm lucky if I made $300 a week at that time. But that was the beginning of my career. You got to crawl before you walk. So I was learning. Then my next company, in the beginning of my career, I was with a bunch of different companies, just trying to find my way. But the key, I didn't get any speeding tickets. I didn't get involved in any accidents. I didn't get cited by DOT. I kept my record clean the whole time. Over 20 years now. So the next company, regional, I was with a company called JDC Logistics. That was roughly in '98. In between that time, from the time I left Fox Midwest and JDC, right after I left Fox Midwest, I worked with a local company called More Oil. I worked for them for about a year and a half. And that was a local company, oil company. I would drive a straight truck and a straight tanker, bulk oil and packaged goods, going to like Instant Oil, Valvoline's, car dealerships, places like that. But moving forward, I went to JDC Logistics. I worked for them for a year and a half. That was regional, 6 states. Plus, I went to Canada with them twice. This is before you needed a passport. All you needed was your driver's license, and that was good. I was out 5 days, home 2 days. It was fine, but they ended up changing their incentive programs at the time. So I moved on. You know, I was young, just trying to. In the beginning, a lot of times you're just trying to find home. But I would suggest to you, if you're new and you start driving, I say try to at least stay someplace for a year. I mean, because I look back in a 10-year time frame, I probably had 13 jobs back then. Uh, Even though I stayed working, it doesn't look good on the resume when you're trying to find that home, that place you could stay in, feel that you can retire from. That's all I was looking for. But the main thing, I was over the road because I had to get the experience. And at the time, over the road companies are the ones that give you the shot. They give you the chance and the training. There wasn't a lot of local companies at that time that would train you, which there are now in Milwaukee. There's companies that would train a brand new driver from scratch. That was unheard of at that time. So I went over the road, and my destination, what I always want to do is be over the road, not be involved in accidents, not getting in speeding tickets, not getting in trouble at the weigh stations, keep my record clean so I can find a good local job where I'm home every day and I make decent money. I finally landed that. I'll tell you why I work later in a minute. So after JDC Logistics, I went to Dallas Mavis. It was a company called Dallas Mavis. Now JDC Logistics and Dallas Mavis, we did the same thing. We hauled engines out of Kenosha, Wisconsin to Ohio, Michigan, Missouri, and Canada. That was short-lived. I worked for them for about 6 months. And then, what was my next company? Oh, then I went to another local company. I went to a local company it was called Allied Food Service at that time. It was a decent paying job at the time. And I was home every day, but this was a hard, you working your butt off on this job. You've probably seen them out there. They're similar to what Cisco does, and Cisco, and U.S. Food Service. It was like that company. You deliver to restaurants. It could be Cousin Sub. It could be Denny's. You deliver to restaurants. But everything you're taking off, you're handling every piece of freight that's on there. It's a refrigerated trailer, and you're hauling everything out with a dolly, two-wheel dolly, going down the ramp in the winter, in the rain, in the fall, everything. Anyway, I didn't quit that job because that job was good. It had good benefits. But what happened? I had a hoopty, which is a busted vehicle, which I think the young kids today call a trapper. So I had a whack vehicle, and it was unreliable, so I got fired. I got fired from that job. And after that, let me see, what was my next job? Oh, I went to J.B. Hunt. J.B. Hunt was all right. I worked there for about 8 months. I left J.B. Hunt because I wanted to try a lease purchase program. So I moved on to a company called Greenfield Transport out of Fort Dodge, Iowa. They was part of the Hirschbach family. Hirschbach is still out there. I don't believe Greenfield Transport is still out there. So I worked for them for about 3 months. Lease purchase wasn't for me. It can be, but it wasn't for me. That's all. We had if it didn't work out, 3 months. If it didn't work out for you, you feel like this ain't up for you, you can leave. So they got their truck back. They didn't lose nothing because I was paying truck payments and escrow for maintenance and all that. So they didn't lose anything. I just lost a little bit, but it was fine. Then after that, after lease purchase, what I do? After that company, I didn't drive for a little bit. I did security. I was a security officer for about 9 months. Then I went to a company called Wispac Transport for 3 months. And they was regional as well. Wispac, I would be gone 5 days and home on the weekends. I was gone Monday through Friday, home on the weekends. I didn't really make much money with them. I should have because I had a lot of experience by that time, but they didn't really have the freight that they told me that they had. So I ended up leaving them. They did say that if it don't work out, you don't have to just quit because they had a local spotting position. So I ended up taking a spotting job. It was a Wispac Transport. Then they changed the name to Impact. Well, Wispac was on the north. Downtown was Impact. And then they all changed to Cargill. So if you hear Cargill Foods, that's what I'm talking about. Wispac, Impact. Now it's Cargill Foods. So I did spotting at Cargill for a year and 3 months. That was on second shift. But then I wanted first shift, but they didn't have first shift available. So then I left and went to a company called Tax Air Freight for a year and some change. And while I was at Tax Air Freight, I took a part-time job for a Cargill in Butler, Wisconsin. Only they didn't have part-time; they had full-time. So I ended up taking a full-time job and then leaving Tax Air Freight. So that was a local job. You know, my schedule there was Sunday through Thursday. Yeah. The pay it wasn't great. It was okay, but keep in mind, I'm building experience. I'm not having accidents, and one day I'm gonna find that good paying job, right? You know, that's the goal. So you gotta crawl before you walk. So sometimes it take a few moves before you finally get the one that you feel like you can stay at. So that was Tax Air Freight. After Tax Air Freight, after Tax Air Freight, like I said, I left Tax Air Freight and went to Impact Foods, which is in Butler. Now it was Impact, but they changed it to Cargill. So I worked for three different Westpac, Cargill, and Impact locations. Those are all the same companies. So I did that in Butler. After that, I worked for a company called Meridian IQ, which was in Saugerville, Wisconsin, hauling steel. That's where I learned how to do flatbed work. I was doing steel coils. They had a flatbed, they had Conestogas, they had side kits. I learned how to break down side kit, put up side kit. I learned how to fold up tarps, and that was a good job. That was all right. But once again, I had a busted vehicle, and that company it wasn't on the bus line, so I left there. So I ended up going after that. I went to the United States Postal Service. Yes, got a job with the United States Postal Service as a tractor trailer operator. But unfortunately, it wasn't a career position. It was a casual position, which is similar to a temp service. So they at the time, this was in 2007. They give you appointments. So my first appointment was a 3-month appointment. I did good. They still needed me. So they gave me another 3-month appointment. They did good. They still needed me. Then they gave me a 6-month appointment, which made it a whole year. So I worked the whole year. 2007, 2008 came. I reevaluated what I needed. Well, I need to be able to take vacation. I need some benefits. As a casual, you don't get any benefits. You just get an hourly rate. No sick days. None of that. No vacation pay. None of that. I couldn't even park in the employee parking lot. I had to pay for parking as a casual tractor trailer operator. But what it did, it gave me an insight of what the tractor trailer operator does for the United States Postal Service. Had I been a career employee, I'd be doing the same job that I was doing. I would be doing, except I have benefits. So 2008, they renewed me for another whole entire year, till 2009. So the good news, I would have had another job. I would have had a job there doing the same thing for another whole year. The bad part is I was still been a casual, and that's not with no promises of being a career employee. You're just a casual. You could be a casual for 10 years or more, whatever. You're a casual. That's you're hired as a casual. That's what you are. So I evaluated where I was at. And I don't want to be a casual no more. I don't want to end up being a person that's a casual for not even 2 years. I was already there for 1. And then, so I left. I resigned my position as a casual. And I went to a company called Midwest Iron and Metal. That's where I learned how to drive a pneumatic dump trailer. I had never did that before. I learned to drive that. I was hired to be a tractor trailer driver, so I was the main tractor trailer driver there. But I also drove they had a dump trailer that dumps. They had a gondola trailer, which is open on the top, put the scrap in. It was a scrap company. They had lugger trucks that picks up lugger boxes, and roll-off trucks that pick up roll-off boxes. So I learned how to do all of that there. They sold to another company after I was there, I believe 3.5 years, they sold to another company. But the accounts still the same. I was still driving the same truck, same accounts. Nothing really changed except the company name. And obviously, some of the incentives changed. They did away with, because we used to get bonuses twice a year. That stopped. So I stayed there. Anyway, make a long story short, so they sold to Midwest Foreman Recycling. So I was with Midwest Foreman Recycling until 2016, which Midwest Foreman Recycling joined forces with United Milwaukee Scrap. So they're partners, United Milwaukee Scrap and Midwest Foreman Recycling. So collectively, between Midwest Iron and Metal, Midwest Foreman Recycling, and United Milwaukee Scrap, I was there 8.5 years, which I had to evaluate. 8.5 years is good. Remember I told you before, in a 10-year period, I had like 13 different jobs. So I remained stable, and I shortened that, and it made it good. So 8.5 years in one place is good. So at that time, I said, you know what, it's time that I start looking now, someplace where I can retire. Because I couldn't retire from there because the benefits were too high. And there wasn't much incentive, There wasn't much incentive. For a driver that's been driving over 20 years, I need more incentives. One thing was good. I worked first shift. I was off every weekend. But the benefits wasn't there. Which brings us to now. So I got hired at the United States Postal Service, a career position as a tractor trailer operator in 2016. Currently, I'm still there. I don't have a set route, but I have all the benefits. And I'll be in the set route probably within the end of this year or the beginning of next year. So sometimes you gotta be patient, Sometimes it happens quicker though. If I had not had the messy resume early on, bouncing around from job to job, trying to find my niche, I could have been found a career with a company that had the benefits, because not just the post office have good benefits. There's other companies out there. I've had some interviews. They looked at my resume. They see I got the experience, but they see I'm all over the place. Would you hire me? If I got two resumes, I got one person that's been at one place for 10 years and one been at 14 for 10 years. Who I'm going to choose? I'm going to choose the one that's been at one place, for 10 years, especially if it's a company where I want someone to stay. So anyway, that's a little bit about my personal background as it relates to driving. So I've been driving over 20 years now. Commercially, my record is good. I love it. So I deliver bulk mail. What I do is I deliver bulk mail to stations, to postal stations, as well as distribution centers in our area. I don't drive over the road anymore. This is not an over the road. It's local. I mean, very, very local. I'm lucky if I do 80 miles in one day, doing the runs that I do. It's 8.5 hours, half-hour lunch, 8-hour working. And I like it. I really enjoy it. So that's a little bit about my trucking career. Feel free to share some of yours with me. You guys take it easy.